What's up out there? This is Steve O. Gonna do a Pearl Jam Lightning Bolt review. Just picked it up today. Thought I'd give my own little viewpoint since so many people out there have their own little viewpoints, and a lot of them are very negative from what I can tell. Seems like there's a big backlash against the group. I think some people forget that they've been around for over 20 something years and put out about, what is it now, about 10 albums or something, and not every band is going to stay like they were at one time and have that same intensity. It's just not going to happen. I mean, if Jimi Hendrix had not died when he was young, he probably would have put out a lot of crappy albums. The same with the Doors and all that. I mean, who knows what they would have done? Jim Morrison might have went into disco or something. Good Lord. Well, I'll go right off the bat and give it a rating just for the hell of it. All right, there's a 5-star rating here, 1 to 5. I'm gonna give it a 4. I think that's fairly good. I mean, and I've seen a lot of people out there that are giving like a 2-star rating. These are people that are like they don't know anything about music. Maybe they're just like critics that are frustrated musicians, or maybe they want to be in bands and they don't know how hard it is to come up with lyrics and drums and guitar solos. But I'm gonna give it a 4 because it clocks in at I think about 47 minutes, right under 50 minutes, and it's overall there's 12 tracks on Lightning Bolt, and I would say that I liked 10 of them. Right off the bat, I liked 10 of the tracks. I think there was the one track, Sleeping by Myself, is from Eddie Vedder's solo thing, his ukulele songs, and I have no clue why that was brought over to the Pearl Jam album. It's fine on his crazy, strange ukulele solo thing, but to bring it into the Pearl Jam world, I don't think it really works. It seems weird, and I don't really even like the song. And the other song, but right before that, Let the Records Play, I wasn't that crazy about. But maybe it's just that one song, Sleeping by Myself, because it was his little solo project, and I don't know why maybe they needed an extra track and they just thought they'd use that one. It's been 4 years since their last album, since Backspacer. 4 years. Things change in the world. They definitely don't seem to have the anger that they had at one time, or Eddie Vedder doesn't have that kind of upset with the world situation, especially when Bush was president, and back in those days, back when they were always ranting and raving about politics, and even putting it into their music and having spoken word things against George Bush, that kind of stuff. That's over with. This is just a rock record. That's just basically what it is. It's just a rock record. It starts off with a bang, I think. You get Getaway, Mind Your Manners, and My Father's Son. 3 incredibly strong tracks. It could have easily been off Backspacer, or even Vitology or Verses, I think, if they're that strong. Just really great, not in the anthem world of like Alive or Jeremy or anything like that, but they're very powerful tracks and very just good hard rock. Eddie Vedder sounds great. His vocals sound as strong as ever, and that's the one thing that's always kind of surprised me, that with each album he's always sounded pretty damn good. He's never kind of faltered in any respect. A lot of singers, kind of changed their singing style. People like Robert Plant, now he's doing like country stuff. Of course, there's some stuff on here that's pretty slow, but Robert Plant does not want to sing like he did in Led Zeppelin. He's like, I just read a biography on that, and it almost seems like he hates Led Zeppelin now. But anyway, that's a whole nother issue, and he can just get mad and not ever sing Stairway to Heaven again or whatever. But anyway, starts off with a bang like that, really in your face rocks, and then it goes into Sirens. And I'm not going to do a track by track thing here, although I could. But Sirens is a more kind of a power ballad, melodic kind of thing. It harkens back to their earlier years, maybe something maybe off of like binaural or yeah, binaural or even like no code or something. There's definitely a cool vibe with that song. And unfortunately, you can just see that people are gonna get like obsessed with that kind of slower paced song, and it's talking about your own mortality, which is a running theme through a lot of Eddie Vedder wrote all the lyrics on the album, and a lot of it deals with death, life, death, birth, all that kind of stuff, and so it's not just it's. I think a lot of people, I read some reviews and they said it was like Pearl Jam happy and joyous, and I was like, and I'm reading the lyrics and he's talking about his woman leaving him for another man. He's talking about his own death and how the grave might be better, and I'm thinking this is pretty depressing stuff, and it just doesn't have that hardcore kind of suicidal rant. Although, like a song like Black, something like that. There's a song on there called Pendulum, which is a weird track. It's a real freaky, spooky sounding track, and it sounds like it would just fit perfectly on like a Mark Lanigan CD. The ex-singer of Screaming Trees, and he's gone on to do his own thing now. And he even has a song, I think, called Pendulum on one of his solo albums, and it's a creepy little number, and it almost sounds out of place, but for some reason, as I was listening to it, you kind of get those chills, and it's like, damn, this is cool stuff. You could tell that live, if everyone would shut up and not be drunk, it'd be a good live track, even though it's more atmospheric and kind of strange. But overall, I think it's a cool album. I think it just started off too much with a bang, having those three strong songs, then having Sirens have this really cool melodic ballad come into play, and then it kind of meanders around. It's like Pendulum is that weird track. Infallible is kind of funky and almost bluesy like, and the whole thing ends with like a whimper. It starts off with a bang and ends with a whimper. But is that good or bad? I mean, if you're a Pearl Jam fan like I am, it kind of maybe doesn't matter. I think they should have just not ended this CD with Sleeping by Myself, Yellow Moon, and Future Days. Yellow Moon and Future Days are both great tracks. They really are. And Future Days is almost a perfect track to end the album with. But to have those three songs like that at the end, it just kind of makes you want to like nod off, like, okay, come on band, let's pick it up, let's pick up the pace here. I think a lot of people have said they were actually bored with the CD, and I was definitely not bored. I heard fantastic soloing from the band. I mean, to me, they were just all great. I mean, McCready sounded great, and Gossard sounded great, and everyone had this. It sounds like a really cool vibe with the album. Like they knew what they were gonna do, but it might not be what we wanted to hear. I think everyone just wants to hear another Vitology or another 10 or another I don't know what. I think people are just obsessed with those early grunge days, and those days are long gone, my friend. And Yield, of course. I keep forgetting. I hate that title because it's just like a Yield. That's what I was like thinking of. Binaural and Yield, both were like really good albums. I think some of their best, other than like the first couple, especially maybe Yield. Very, very strong album. I think I think this is perfect for where they're at now. You know, they're married. They've got Eddie Vedder's like has a kid now, and it's like and you can sense that this sense of um, I wanted to put out something maybe not so dark, but in the end, he's talking about death a lot, and so you're wondering, you know, what's going on in his head. But it's still a strong album, I think. It's well worth anybody who's into Pearl Jam, and if you liked Backspacer, which I think was okay, I give that like a 3.5 stars. It was kind of in your face, kind of garage rock kind of thing. Like, hey, we're gonna make a really fast album under 40 minutes, and this one has more of a melodic feel to it. It it kind of surprised me on some of the songs. I mean, I was literally reminded, like, am I listening to Vitology or Versus? I literally thought, was this like a track from back then that they didn't use? You know, especially those first, like, Getaway or Mind Your Manners. I think it's something that a lot of people are going to debate about. And I'm like, why debate about it? Just fucking enjoy it. Crank it up loud. Well, maybe not too loud because it ends so softly. You know, if they had just put like another harder track toward the end, it might have made the whole album a little more cohesive and not so like part one and part two, which it feels like that's what the album is. You got the first part of the album is heavy, and then the last part is a little more toned down, but it's still worth your money. I think you should get it, and then, you know, and you need to listen to it, you know, with a good surround sound system. Don't sit there on YouTube and judge this album. You need it, or something in your car, something really cranked up loud, and listen to it, and go out and get it. I do recommend it. I'm giving it 4 stars. If I keep listening to it, I'm probably gonna jump that up to 4.5. I like it better than Backspacer, so go figure. And I did listen to No Code this week, and I hadn't listened to No Code in almost like 5 years. Oh God, I can't. But and I thought to myself, this is a strange album. There's a lot of weird things here. It's like poetry, and there's weird acoustic things, and then there's like whispering. Eddie, you can barely hear him, and that was a real scattered album. This definitely feels more, like I said, cohesive. It's like they had a plan when they were going into it, and I think they achieved it. So go out and get it. That's what I say you should do. All right, later.